Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where everybody's coming in from. We are just going live. Thank you for your patience while we were launching up the Zoom. Let's give it a few more minutes while everybody is connecting in right now as we speak, and we will be starting in about 15 seconds. In the meantime, if everybody who's already connected in, let's start engaging with the audience by dropping in where you're connecting in from, what state, what city, and how everybody's week is going thus far. And we will start in 60 seconds. Perfect. On that note, I think we can get started. The rooms are filling in, the chat is live. Perfect. So once again, good morning, afternoon, and evening. Quick introduction to myself, a bit of a surprise host. My name is Alex Harbinov. I'm the local marketing consultant at Promo Republic. Outside of work, I'm a dad to one little toddler, will be three next month. Big into traveling, love trying new foods, new cultures, scuba dive, and mountain bike enthusiast. Let's get going. And if everybody is attending IFA this month, drop in the comments below. Once again, we are expecting Brandy to connect a few minutes late, but to not delay, let's get the show on the road. I'll start by doing a quick pass around of the mic to get everybody introduced. Jennifer, passing the mic to you first. Tell us a little bit about your world.
Hi, thanks, Alex. Very happy to be here with my esteemed colleagues. So nice to see everyone. Like Alex said, I'm Jennifer Lobianco. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Best Life Brands. I've been in franchising for a very long time now and with Best Life Brands for 5 years. Best Life Brands is a family of five companies really dedicated to servicing the aging population throughout the continuum of care. Basically, what that means is everything from caregiving in the home to skilled nursing, estate sales, and mobility solutions. And growing. We're excited to announce that we're almost at 1,000 locations across all the brands throughout the United States and Canada. And again, happy to be here today. Taylor?
Jennifer, thank you so much for carving out time to connect with us. Five brands, 1,000 locations. It's a lot of capes to wear, a lot of fires to potentially pull out. So thank you for carving out the time to share your expertise. I'll pass the mic over next to Shanna, please.
Well, now I feel like a little bit of a slacker. I'm Shanna Chris, and I'm the CMO over here at Goldfish Swim School. We are a learn to swim facility. We have 207 locations across 37 states and a few in Canada as well. And we teach little kids how to swim and be safe in and around water while really enjoying their experience.
Love it, love it. It's something that I'm personally venturing into right now. I've been self-coaching for the last 12 months and eager to kind of find a system locally to me. So if anybody has suggestions, Wilmington, North Carolina, if there's a franchisee willing to take on the market, maybe it will be me. Who knows?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Last but not least, Taylor.
Hi, so great to see everyone today. And I can personally vouch for Goldfish. Both of my kids under 5 loved their experience there. So, green flag, definitely, Alex. My name is Taylor Hullick Smith, and I'm the VP of Brand Strategy and Design at Head to Toe Brands, a beauty portfolio of 4 different brands: the Lash Lounge, Eyelash Extensions, Bishop's Cuts and Color, it's a salon, Frenchie's Modern Nail Care, a nail salon, and most recently, Delta Crown Hair Extension Studio. Been with Head to Toe for about 8 years and been in franchising for over 15 now. So, really excited to be invited to this panel today.
Taylor, thank you so much for coming on board, even when there's a new acquisition, a new brand, new segment completely. So I can imagine everybody's busy in your house. So thank you for carving out time to be with us. And before we get started with agenda, very quick 60 seconds of attention for those who are tuning in potentially for the first time or just simply never heard what Promo Republic is. Promo Republic is the core sponsor of CMO Peer Talks that makes these webinars possible on a monthly basis. For those of you who are not familiar with who Promo Republic is, we are currently supporting a little bit over 110 franchise systems globally, which is cumulatively 25,000 franchisees with one very simple mission: to truly activate their local digital marketing. Last year, we marked the release of our mobile AI assistant that was specifically built with franchisee activation top of mind. Our system absorbs your brand voice and guidelines, it measures your real-time local marketing data, and it guides franchisees on what to post, how to reply to customer reviews, and what actions actually move their local visibility metrics. We're seeing the trends pretty clearly. Brands that have 75 to 80% of their franchisees actively engaged with local marketing are outperforming those that are stagnating behind by typically 2 to 3 times better traction in search and discovery performance. The franchisee industry stats currently show us that typically 2 out of every 5 franchisees are actually actively engaged. If you're curious what this could look like for your brand, scan the QR code and let's chat. Or if you simply just want to take a look behind the hood, I'm here to help. With that, no further ado, let's get the panel on the road. For those connecting in for the first time, feel free to join our online community. This will allow you to stay up to date on the upcoming webinars that we have planned on a regular basis. The next event will be marketers only, invite only meetup at IFA, so it'll actually be offline. Scan the QR code, get involved, and without further ado, let's jump right into the first question of the day. How has adoption become a strategic issue? What's the risk of assuming adoption will just happen? Shanna, want to take this from the top?
Sure. I don't think that adoption has never not been a strategic issue, ever not been a strategic issue. We can do everything that we can do on our side. And I have been with this brand for 12 years and been in franchising a long time as well. And you can put out the best things. Marketing can continue to evolve. Digital is just going crazy and social. There's so much out there that can help franchisees, but without adoption, without buy-in, none of it really matters. It's like, marketing, knowing who you are as a brand without telling a consumer, right? Same thing in franchising. If we give franchisees everything that we have and it's the best and it's strategic and it's proven and we have best practices, but they don't buy in, we can't communicate the value, then it's really for naught. It's not going to move the needle and we're not going to be successful and they're not going to be successful. So the risk of assuming adoption will just happen is underperforming schools and an underperforming brand.
Absolutely. I hear it so many times where we're preparing the brand kits, we're giving them the playbooks, we're creating the content. It's simply a matter of did they do it? Will they do it? So let's make that basically as easy as possible, because in the franchise space, it really kind of sometimes relies on the franchisee. And sometimes it comes down to having that discussion. What can we take off their plates and really just do on their behalf to ensure that 100% adoption is there and across all schools? Jennifer? Uh,
Yeah, this is a great question. And I look at it in terms of there's a lot of risks, but if you put it into two buckets, maybe two risks. One is the obvious, which is the wasted time, money, and resources that the marketing department has put in and our agencies into developing campaigns, programs, platforms that aren't utilized effectively. And the other is the opportunity lost that franchisees haven't taken those tools and programs and tried to really leverage them locally. Um, every time we roll out any type of new program, we include in it two things. One is the input from our marketing advisory council, and secondly, some sort of marketing playbook. So it could be something that we took weeks to create, months, even a year to create a new program. And we want to make sure we put just as much time into the execution and to the training and the marketing to franchisees that we put into actually creating the program. And I think that's the biggest difference and challenge between what we do as franchise marketers and people that are working in marketing that's direct to consumer. We have that extra layer of marketing that's required. And I would even say the hardest part of our marketing is that because trying to get franchisees to really adopt something that they are maybe not interested in at the beginning, aren't aware of even how it will help them. There's a lot involved in that. And we put a lot of time and effort behind that. And again, when they do see the effects of what they're doing and the power behind it, that's when you really get those advocates and those people who will talk about it to other franchisees. But I feel like until you get that, it's very hard to convince someone how to do it or why to do it. even when we do provide ROI and a lot of best practices. So we do try to get the Marketing Advisory Council on board first before we roll it out. So then they can be the voice box, if you will.
Jennifer, absolutely great input on the Franchise Advisory Council, and even better, one layer deeper post execution, kind of identifying the early franchisees that adopted and painting back with real-time data. This is the ROI that we're accomplishing here. Let's get involved. Let's get engaged. Taylor?
Yeah, I really respect what Shanna and Jennifer just said. Like Shanna started off with, how has it never been a strategic issue? Lack of adoption, despite the amount of work that's gone into playbooks and partner selection and strategy, is always going to result in higher CPA, churn, lack of revenue optimization. I mean, let's just think of the basics, right? Not calling a lead back. That's a missed conversion opportunity for a new customer. Not utilizing your local advertising partners. There's so many lost customers that you miss out on. Not asking for reviews. We can do it via technology, which is great. But that personal one-on-one request after your front desk has noticed, they have the emotional IQ to notice that that customer has had a great experience, can't replace that with technology. In our industry in beauty, not posting locally to social media in an industry like beauty, there's no aesthetic example of how your service looks like on your customer. And that's how people can start to imagine what your service is going to look like on them. They might just bail after that. Not emailing. We can provide templates for different types of emails, but unless they utilize them, there's missed conversion opportunities for prospects, for optimizing average ticket and trial of new products and services. And like for us, I know, Alex, you had mentioned talking about the franchisor taking more off the franchisee's plate because they're just so busy, and that's really the reality. I just wanted to share an example of a campaign that we did recently. It was centered around winning back lost customers that had been dormant in our systems for a long time. And the home office had locations select an offer. And then the home office managed a series of 4 emails that went out over the course of a month to incentivize these dormant customers to come back. So we did all that. And then we also provided a guide or a playbook on how to layer that follow-up manually at the salon level. I think we could have done a better job on B on the second part of that. But just from the franchisor managing that 4 email campaign across our salons, we were able to get $5,000 per salon back in 2 months, 17 customers that we won back. And the lifetime value is still growing because we always want people to come back, become a member, and spend more with us. Now, imagine what could have happened if the salons would have utilized that playbook to manually layer on that follow-up, contacting hot leads. The potential is unrealized. And I know I've talked for a long time, but I did have a really cool example that's not my own, but it resulted from a conversation I had with one of our former brilliant agencies, One Up Web. We were talking about the opportunity cost of not following a program or system, which I think Jennifer was mentioning earlier. Quantifying the risk is often difficult. One Up Web had one of their clients that had this amazing idea that I think it was for 10 franchisees for a period of a year, where they said, hey, franchisees, you have to do everything in our recommended local marketing strategy. And if you do this, you have to utilize all of our agency partners. We are promising you 5 times return on ad spend. And the franchisor said, if you don't achieve this, we'll cover it for you. So they believed so strongly that their programs and their playbooks and their partners were going to actually result in tangible revenue that they offered to fund this test, again, to create that social proof, that social, the franchisee social proof. They achieved 9 times ROAS and didn't have to cover anything on average. What One Up Web did tell me too is they also activated a team of internal field marketing coaches. And I know in some organizations, you're not large enough to have that. So maybe the franchise business coaches could act as that layer, but that was a big part of the success as well. It's not just releasing a playbook and expecting everything to happen, but it's that constant reinforcement, check-in, and coaching.
Very, very interesting. And how did that typically unwind from doing something of a small caliber of just 10 locations and then bringing that system wide?
hmm Well, this was not my case study. It was just came up in conversation with a fellow franchise marketer.
Hmm.
Um, but I would imagine that's a pretty powerful story when at the end of that year, those 10 franchisees, you don't have to prod them to be excited. They saw that return. So I'd imagine adoption went way, way up the following year.
Absolutely. And we hear this from time to time as well, where it's like, hey, if just follow our recommendations, do that little bit of extra spend, it then quantifies to, let's say, you spent a little bit more, $2,000 more, but that got you $17,000 now in repetitive business. Somebody that's coming back to you systematically, and you're not in the sphere of business where it's a one-time and done service. This is going to be reoccurring revenue. There's going to be a layer of membership. Let's get involved. Great, great
Absolutely.
points, Taylor. Taylor, I'll have you actually start from the next question. What specific system decisions made steady execution feel automatic in your network?
Oh, me again. I have to hear myself speak more. Thanks, Alex. um,
Did we lose Taylor there for a second, or is that me? Okay, I think it's Taylor. Everybody else is moving slightly. Jennifer, you want to take it, and then we'll
Sure.
tune back into Taylor.
Yeah, no problem. One of the first things that came to mind when I looked at this question was a program that we implemented at the beginning of last year for two of our brands. And it was a local SEO and Google business profile optimization on behalf of our franchisees.
Hmm.
Historically, prior to that time, our franchisees were responsible for local SEO and optimizing their own Google business profile pages. And we really found that those that were doing it well on their own, the results really outweighed their spend, because most of them were doing it on their own or limited spend with a local agency. And so what we decided to do was take it to the ad fund up for the two of the brands and see if it was something that they wanted to invest in on behalf of all the locations. And it was something that they really were in support of and agreed with. And at the beginning of last year, we began to implement it. Early indicators really show the power behind this. We are rolling out local services pages every month. We are regularly updating the Google business profile on behalf of all of our franchisees for those two brands. And it's really showing a significant lift for all of our sessions, but even more importantly, the conversion rate on those pages versus the other pages on the site. It was a really strategic shift for us because we noted that those pages weren't getting the highest conversion when they weren't optimized. When we took that heavy lifting off the plate of the franchisees and did that for them, they now can see the results of that, and we're managing on their behalf. So it's kind of a win-win. We feel like it is because we're doing the work for them, so they don't have to do it, and they're seeing the fruits of that labor because again, they're getting more leads, more qualified leads, and they don't have to manage the content. Excuse me. On top of that, if they want to, they can, of course, go into the site, make changes to the site on their own, add more content in WordPress, and also further optimize all of their channels, which we give them guidance on and training. But they have been really happy with what we've done so far in terms of, again, taking that lift off of their plate. And for years, I struggled with, is that really a function local SEO of the franchisees or of the franchisor? And when we really found like they just couldn't or wouldn't do it on their own for whatever reason, and the ad fund decided to move in that direction to support it, it really has made a big difference. So that's one system decision that we made overall that's sort of become more automatic now, that happens regularly. Of course, we guide strategy, but it's something that again happens regularly. And I'm really staying close to all the results, but I think it's something that we will definitely continue.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, if I'm hearing this correctly, so not only are the franchisees now seeing more views, but they're also getting stronger conversions off of those listings because you're now populating the information that customer needs to kind of quickly extract to make, is this a decision of who I actually call? And I think the value add there in parallel is kind of that brand consistency. Because when I think five brands, 1,000 franchisees, and them controlling and setting the dictation of what listings should look like, that can be a little bit scary as well as a marketer.
Yeah, definitely. It helps with brand compliance. It really deters any dilution. So it's a consistent message and voice that goes out there. And we're able to optimize it continually and not set it and forget it. We're always looking at it on behalf of our franchisees versus them having to manage that.
Interesting, interesting. Taylor, we lost you there for a split second, so I'll pass the mic back over to you.
Thank you. So sorry about that. The internet is deciding to have a mind of its own today. I apologize. Okay, so specific system decisions made, steady execution feel automatic. I think simply just visibility into local marketing KPIs. We do this via semi-annual scorecards where we're looking across things like advertising investment, social review quantity, social post quantity, return from email and SMS marketing spend, et cetera, et cetera. And compiling it all in one spot, I think is really helpful for franchisees. Ideally, this would be accessible all the time in real time via some type of digital dashboard. So you're not having to go to different platforms to find your data, but empowering people with data in one spot, I think, is important, layered with the one on one human connection of coaching. Something else that we did is we kind of extracted the social creative portion from our brand book and gave franchisees guidance in their own language on how, as they're sitting down to create, this is how you can do it. And here's the part of creative that you need to, part of our brand that you need to recall. So we also have created templates galore, whether that be in Canva or with our print partner, so that they always have a starting point when they're going to create locally. We have instituted a monthly marketing franchisee facing newsletter where we're reinforcing the messages that we're releasing throughout the month. And I think this is kind of important. And I'm wondering if anyone on the panel has experienced something differently or have any tips for success. But we've tried incentivization galore to get franchisees to participate and engage, like in different ways too. So we'll have a promotion and we'll reward the top seller or the one that's improved most period over period. We've tried focusing on a specific local marketing KPI in a certain month and letting them know how they can win something. And it just has fallen flat when intuitively you think it should work. So it seems like it's motivating only the motivated versus motivating those who are doing nothing, which has been kind of interesting for us.
Taylor, a question to your question. Does each franchisee, when these incentivization programs get launched, do they have kind of the clear visibility of where they sit in the leaderboard, or how is that actually ranked and reported on? What kind of durations are you doing for set programs? So typically when I hear
Mm-hmm.
incentivization, it's let's make this leaderboarded, let's make this as
Yeah.
gamified as possible to kind of move the needle.
Yeah, I think that we have done so from like a franchisor standpoint where we'll give mid campaign updates on leaderboarding. But I think what we've learned from directly from the franchisees is that we're missing the mark to allow them within the actual salon, the people that are working there every day, visibility into those numbers. So somehow pulling it from a digital setting and making it analog so it's hard to miss is something that I think we're going to try for our next big promotion as well. Another thing
Yeah,
our local marketing manager suggested for this year as a way to reapproach the engagement issue is having monthly educational webinars, but having there be homework. And then those that complete the homework, so they had to attend the webinar and then complete the homework that shows retention of information, are entered to win something as a new way to try to help the incentivization flourish.
absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Last but not least, Shanna.
I'm going to try to do my team proud here. I'm making myself quick notes so that I don't leave anything off. I think one of the first things, and all franchises are different as we all know, and in marketing, everything evolves and changes so quickly that we have to evolve and change with it. I am fortunate enough to have not just FBCs, but marketing consultants too. So I do have a team of people that are dedicated to the schools and helping them with the adoption that we just talked about, the strategy, the execution, the best practices, all the good stuff to help them understand what we have and how to use it, and then how it's being adopted and utilized throughout the system. So that helps. We also have, I'm sure everybody on this call has seen them at this point, but we have digital playbooks that we load absolutely everything. So every program we have, every quarter we have one. These digital playbooks have a lot of live links. So links out to our LMS system, it links out to our partners, it links out to the creative that we have, it links out to the copy. It has calendars embedded with, National Ice Cream Day, National Everything in the World Day, and we have copy and photos and images and creative, and it's all loaded in there to make it very, very turnkey for franchisees to, what Jennifer and Taylor both said is, nobody gets into franchising to be a world-class marketer. It's something you have to do if you really want to be successful. But the more turnkey we can make it as franchisors, the better it is for our teams and the better it is for our franchisees. And then not to go down the same list, because I think a lot of us have a lot of the same automations and turnkey systems. But yes, we have NPS, review generation. We actually respond to the reviews for our franchisees. We have a social advocacy program. We have a social media platform that helps them to not only post, but also see a lot of statistics and competitive information and great information in that system itself. Same thing, we have an automated email system. We have 2 approved digital partners that both have dashboards that give some just really key information on not just the cost per click and the cost per lead and the cost per conversion, but also what kind of creative is working within that system, and then being able to share that across the system. As any good franchisor, we have a system of we call it the daily dive, where it's the specific KPIs that we want to know across not just marketing, but across the company. We do an education series as well. And that kind of came out of, we do share, we're really transparent on our brand marketing fund and how we're spending it. But my just putting it on paper and shipping it out to the owners isn't enough. There's so much to understand. And I'll just use SEO as a current example right now. SEO with AI is changing and transforming so incredibly quickly. And we get the same kind of things, digital and SEO, I will say both. We have less leads year over year. We have less organic year over year. We have less PPC is down year over year. We're all hearing this, but it's not just because our wonderful partners aren't performing or our team is not educating. It is because it's just changing. So there are some things you just can't compare. And part of that is making sure that franchisees understand that evolution in the marketing space. And part of that is us educating them. There is so much to learn and know. And the better educated they are, the better they understand what we and our partners can do for them, the better they're going to be able to apply those things in real time. So yes, we have all the templates. To your question, Taylor, we do an incentive. We give them our franchisees marketing templates to use to document their marketing spend, to true it up, to look at what is working. And because so much of it is self-reported, we give them the templates to use, but our marketing consultants would love to assist and support. They can't do it without understanding what each location is doing. So we say, if you will submit this to us so that we can support you and help you, we will throw you into a drawing, and each quarter we will draw a name for those people that have submitted those, and we will give you money towards your digital. And that works to a certain extent. I don't think there is a perfect practice around that.
I like the prize.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, right?
Good.
Everybody's using digital.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I mean, we have a print and marketing portal. I think that is key. We have a wonderful partner, and that allows us to stay on brand and load it up with all of our points of differentiation, making sure that our photos and our copy represents all of our markets. But it makes it really easy for franchisees just to pull in and drag things in. They can't mess it up. They can't stretch the logo. They can't use a different font. They can't, everything is just dynamically set so that everything looks good. And it's all G7 certified. So the color is right no matter what the substrate is. They handle our connected mail as well. It is nonstop systems and nonstop brand execution across everything right now. So hopefully, I know I have a team member or two on this call. Hopefully, I didn't leave anything really, really big out. We do a ton of communication as well, um, weekly calls, weekly newsletters. Communication and systemization is what we have to do as marketers if we want to be even try to keep our heads above water.
Absolutely. So it seems like
Pun
everybody
pun
in your
intended.
house is super, super busy, and franchisees really kind of sole purpose is deliver the most phenomenal in customer experience because you are that storefront. Let us handle the execution on your behalf, and that sets you right off the back 85, 90% consistency.
With
Where it's like
customization, with
with
customization. And I
customization, it's
will
very
always put that caveat. There's not anything we can do as a system that we can just do for them. I truly believe that every single market is a little bit different. And if the better you know that market and the better you know those needed customizations and those differences in your competition and your demographic, the better you're able to use the materials and the programs and support that we provide.
absolutely, absolutely. And this reflects me back. This had to be probably at least 3 years ago, if my memory's not vague. You were presenting, I believe it was at FCXC, talking through about print media campaign that you executed on, where it's like, hey, let's remove franchisees from the equation of will they order this material? We just invested on behalf of every one of our schools and sent it to them. This way it's consistent for what we're focused on. So sometimes it's that push that's needed from the brand side to kind of create that uniformity. So Shanna, very well said. Thank you. Next question. Shanna, you want to take this one from the top? How do your operators know what good looks like, and how quickly will they know if they're off the track?
I don't think they're going to know sometimes as quickly as they think they're going to know. I think sometimes we'll try something or they'll try something and they automatically, it doesn't work, right? I don't think everything in marketing can be try it one time, throw a new campaign out there, and if you haven't seen glorious results in the first 3 days, you should switch it out. So, how do they know? I think that we have to help them. We have to support them. We have to show them what good looks like. We have to explain it. And we have to be able to share system-wide data and best practices in order to help them ascertain on is it good for me? I'll also say I think comparing too much, helping them to compare to what they should and who they should, and keep them from over comparing across the system. Like the system-wide data is it's good for marketers, it's good for us to understand, but I think too often our franchisees want to compare themselves across the board, and they're not the same vintage, they don't have the same competition, they don't have the same markets, they don't have the same sight lines. That I mean, I could go on and on and on what's necessary to understand to know if it was good for you or bad for you as compared to someone else. So I think giving it some time, which is only going to happen if we help support that understanding of how long it should take, and then helping them understand did it meet your objectives under the brand guidelines and under the brand umbrella, but specific to your school and what your objectives are, and how it was implemented for you.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Jennifer, anything to add on?
Yeah, great conversations. I'm listening when Sean and Taylor were talking about the last question, and I just wanted to add a couple things to that, and then
Absolutely.
I'll move on because I do think a couple of them were interesting topics. One about incenting franchisees. If when someone comes up with the best, I think incentive campaign, let me know. I've been trying for 25 years and none of them really have worked, except for and this is by my own, I guess, measurement, if you will. I feel like when franchisees are doing well or performing well or really engaged, we do ask them to be on marketing panels at our fall conferences and our spring conferences. So I see that as a reward that they're being asked as an expert to serve on those panels. And provide their input, not just a testimonial, but actually as experts, or to be part of breakout sessions. So I do see that as a reward versus actually, giving them a gift card or something like that. I haven't seen that work yet. in my lifetime. But you never know. We might come up with something new that will in the future. This question about what is good is always interesting because, like Shanna said, you know what, in terms of ROI, franchisees have different appetites for different types of metrics, and their conversion metrics might look very different than what I think is important for conversion, right? So there's conversion filling out a lead form, then there's a conversion obviously to an actual client. We don't have a lot of repeat customers because that's just type of service business that we're in and the type of client that we have. So our franchisees are constantly on the lookout for new clients all the time. And so they need to be best positioned to constantly be doing marketing and trying new things. Um, and so that's really important. But also, looking also, I think, at traditional media. I started off in TV, radio, print, and outdoor and direct mail. So I still appreciate that type of media. And I think our franchisees trying different things always is really important. I always say to them, keep what works and always add something new and as a test. And that's how I manage all the campaigns for all of our brands. We keep the tried and true things that make sense, but I always want to try something new because you never know. It may not have worked last year, but it could this year. It's a different culture, a different audience, a different time period. And so that's important. What looks good, quote unquote, from a universal standpoint, our franchisees do look at their NPS scores. We manage NPS for clients on the client side for all of our franchisees. So they do look at that for overall health of their franchise organization. But then obviously that's just very high level. We of course tell them to respond. We give them input on how to respond. As part of our NPS platform, there is AI integrated to help them with responses. As well as with the reviews. But then as you dig down deeper, of course, into all the different programs, we have podcasts that we manage for our franchisees. We give them the ROI and the results of those podcasts based on the national advertising and marketing that we've done. But then we tell them, just as we're responsible for marketing it, they're as equally responsible for pushing it locally. That's really where they're going to see the impact is when they take these programs that we've developed and push them to their local audience. People that we are not reaching, they can reach them. We have CEU campaigns that we manage for them. Obviously, all of our advertising campaigns. But so good looks different for different people. But of course, we give them benchmarks and guidance on the potential results that they should be seeing. But one size we know does not fit all. Just a couple more points. Centralization of data is critically important. A lot of our franchisees, when really probed and asked if they've really looked at their results, and they might answer and say, you know what, this campaign isn't working. And I'll say, okay, let's sit down and look at your results. They really can't show me what those results are because they have their data in all these disparate systems for whatever reason. They haven't adopted the one CRM. So there's a lot of, I think the onus goes back on our franchisees to really be honest and open with us on the data, share it with us so we can help analyze it. And we can really help them be more successful if, of course, they have centralization of data, which we do as much as we can. But of course, part of that includes what they can do. And my last point is this year, we're really focused on less is more. For the past 4.5 years, I've been focused on rolling out a lot of new things. We already in the last half hour, the three of us have been on the call talking, mentioned probably 50 different programs. Franchisees, right, we know can never adopt all of them. I have some of our best franchisees that I'll mention a program and they're like, oh, I've never heard of that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been talking about this for 2 years. And I really empathize and I understand why. It's because we're almost throwing too much at them. So I said to the team this year, less is more. We're not rolling out any new programs and we're just going to focus on those that we have and train and continue to market to our franchisees in the best way we can and present on webinars, however we can, to get in front of them, because if they just use a portion of what we've currently provided, their needle will move. But I think we've at this point almost provided too much.
Interesting. Jennifer, that was a very interesting point in terms of having a program that's running for years and your top performing franchisees simply didn't even have that on the radar. Connecting the dots to webinars, maybe kind of surfacing back like, hey, these are their flagship programs, and having the
Mhm.
data of who's still not involved. It's like, hey, let's get involved. So I think systematically reminding the missed opportunity uh, and having that feedback come back from franchisees of why they're not involved is so, so vital. And data only helps back that up. Taylor?
Lots of great things that came from my fellow panelists on this question, so I won't be too verbose on this one. I think I feel very strongly, and I'm in a very fortunate position to be able to say this, but visibility into other locations' performance, I think, is essential. And my panelists have also commented on context matters. One location's goals and one location's inhibitors might be completely different. One of the cool things that our brand president introduced is something called a cohort tool. So he's separating revenue performance into quartiles and giving visibility across core business KPIs and a few marketing KPIs that speak to lead generation in a single spot. It allows the franchise business coaches to have conversations with our owners on their goals that are rooted in their KPI performance and allows them to focus them on the areas that they need to improve in order to be successful in the other ones. So something like number of leads that are coming in, number of form fills versus bookings, for instance, or average ticket, amount of new guests, retention. Not like anything crazy. These are pretty standard business KPIs, but having them in one spot relative to other owners that are in similar positions to them, I think just naturally lights a fire under you because they set a goal, not that they want to be number one in the system, but maybe they want to move up to the next quartile. And for other KPIs, a lot of marketing KPIs, I think visibility into other owners' performance on things that don't vary a ton from location to location, like number of reviews you're getting on Google, number of reviews you're getting on Yelp, rating, NPS. I know Jennifer talked about number of times you're posting locally versus relying on brand social posts cascaded to their accounts. Like those are kind of good things to see publicly. So you kind of feel like you have to improve if you're way under not only what your fellow owners are doing, but you're under those goals that the franchisor has set for you at the beginning of the year because they know those goals, those target KPIs are what are going to lead you to success. So big proponent of system-wide data and visibility if you're fortunate enough to have started from that. I know retroactively it can sometimes be a pain point.
Out of curiosity, because you have also the layer of business coaches, are you also kind of quantifying that out where it's like this business coach works with these specific 20 salons? Uh, do you also benchmark it that way, or do you look at it really on the level of per franchisee?
Oh, that's so interesting that you say that because we have restructured our franchise business coach support system a bunch of different times. We've done it regionally in the past. We've done it by area of expertise, and now we are doing it by revenue. So their revenue ranges. So we'll have someone that's working with newer franchisees that are just opening locations, and then we'll have another one that's working with multi-unit owners that are facing different challenges than those that have just opened recently.
Understood. So where they are in their business journey, it can actually completely reshape what their goals are for the given quarter for a year. Makes sense. Maybe business coaches could be a layer of that incentivization to also kind of drive that adoption. It's the light bulb that went off for me.
Yes.
Alex, I just
Harmony
want
between support system is so important.
I
Absolutely.
was just going to add to that, Alex, what Taylor was talking about in business coaches. So we have franchise business consultants. We don't have field marketing representatives. That was what my first job in franchising was a really long time ago. And I really found that was, I would love every marketer to start in that role. I was in the field, listening to franchisees at the beginning complain a lot about what corporate was doing. And it gave me a really inside out approach to understanding what is important to franchisees. And if there's no adoption at the local level, it really doesn't matter what corporate was doing. So I became that sort of conduit between the two. We were also, this was a long, long time ago at another company. We were structured where the franchise business consultants were almost mirrored the field marketing team. So it wasn't quite one-to-one, but let's say you were in the Northeast United States and there was an FBC in that region geographically overseeing those franchisees from the operations side of things. The field marketing person was also representing that region. And there were regional meetings. They worked really closely together. And this was when franchising was moving a little slower in marketing, I think, because it was right before digital sort of took off. But I felt like it was a very symbiotic sort of thing because you were on the same page about everything that was rolling out. because you had the same locations that you were responsible for, if you will. So I think that's going to be interesting what that looks like in the future, right? Not hiring a million more people, but how can we do that to really leverage that? And while the FBCs are out visiting locations in person, the marketing team were not. So how do we get to the point? I've been trying to figure out a way to do this without hiring a lot more people, a way to do it, because I do think that in person does really pay off a lot. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Next question, Taylor, I'll let you take this one from the top because your internet froze out last time. So everybody has kind of the starting stage. What approaches or supports do you think will raise adoption further across operators or regions in 2026 for your system?
This is such a good question. Um, we talked a lot about access to data. I still believe about that. Jennifer mentioned this, I believe, earlier. 1 to 2 page how-tos. If it's long, franchisees generally won't read. So how do we make it even easier to execute? Franchisee-led education, we've talked about quite a bit. We're thinking about how, in the spirit of making it easier, what do you need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis? Just checklists prioritized in order of importance. And in terms of raising adoption, this is another idea that came from our brand president, but we know a lot of the work that we're asking franchisees to do in marketing just intuitively are going to support moving someone from awareness into conversion, right? But oftentimes it's hard to draw that causal relationship. So if you're optimizing a GBP profile, how do you know one of the 4 things that you did actually resulted in more calls or more bookings or visits to the website? You don't really. You can do a correlational assessment, but we wanted to take it a step further in terms of tying these marketing checklist items into revenue. So recently we started ranking top performers across marketing KPIs and correlating them to business KPIs that mean something to us. So first time visitors, we could do revenue, we could do retention. And we're noticing that there tends to be commonality in those that are executing the local marketing engagement and those that are highest amongst their fellow franchisees across these KPIs. And it's not a science, but you start to see the story as you go across these KPIs that you're seeing commonality in those top performers and associating them with being engaged in a local marketing setting, which is pretty cool.
Love it. Love it. Jennifer, anything to add?
Yeah, for us personally, I had a 5-year marketing technology roadmap, and we're at I've like 3 pieces of that roadmap that are launching this year. And it really has to do with data integration with all of our systems. So we have to make it as easy as possible for all the leads from all the outlets to go into one universal system. So it makes it as easy as possible for franchisees. So the email marketing automation system is talking to the lead database, that's talking to the customer retention platform. It's all related together. There were pieces that had to be custom built, and we're at the last leg of that now, which I'm really excited about it. And it's going to make it a lot easier for franchisees to be able to create dispositions for each one of those leads that comes in, which will trigger then campaigns that we will manage on their behalf, email campaigns. We know every client, every prospective client is not the same. They're looking for different information. That's nothing new. We all know that, but are we all doing the best job at really marketing to them differently? I think not. Probably our franchisees, a lot of them are marketing to them all the same way. And in our business, they have a lot of different needs, especially on the side of in-home caregivers, placement in specific communities. Do they need assisted living or do they need memory care? Those are very different needs, and we can't market to them all the same way. And right now we are, because the way the system works, it's very one directional. And once we build these systems to work easier together, I think franchisees, it'll be that 1+1=3 kind of equation. And it'll really take it to the next level. So I'm really excited about that for our franchisees. And also to be able to build in some AI tools to that, so we can look at predictive analytics, and we can look at campaigns well beyond what we're currently doing now. So that's a big thing for us.
Perfect. Love it. Last but not least, Shanna.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely say marketing technology as well. It's just an area when I first started that was not something that we needed to play in that space. We had a technology department or we had some technology people on the team. If you're in marketing right now, you need to understand marketing technology. You have to understand that we need easier access to data for our franchisees. AI is certainly going to play a part, but automations in email and elsewhere with personalization, because that's what the consumer expects. So we all need to get there. We need to make it easier for franchisees and for ourselves through automation, but for consumers, what they want is they only want messages that actually relate to what they want. And they want that all over the place on digital. So we have to be able to personalize while we're automating and using AI and new technology. And we need to do it in the simplest way possible with less dashboards. Yeah, I absolutely what Taylor said, better data, better correlation. And then I'll speak out at the other side of my mouth and say, with all of that, I still truly believe in not overcorrecting. I do think we absolutely have to have a personal approach, but the base marketing is incredibly important. Strategy and support is incredibly important. So we kind of have to marry both sides.
Interesting, interesting. And that all I think starts with a very strong relationship with like a CTO or somebody's that's helping you orchestrate that through the technology to give marketing the resources that they need, that then unwinds to support packages, adoption packages, really measuring and benchmarking. We have one more question, and Shanna, I will let you take this one from the top. Could AI create leverage that humans alone can't sustain at scale? And where are you still cautious or skeptical about using AI inside your system?
Well, Alex, I am very old, so I'm going to be skeptical about anything that is, too far in one direction. And so I'm on board. I'm on board the AI train. I'm here for it. I want to see it be used and leveraged in the right ways. To what I was just saying, there are ways to find efficiencies there, especially around data and especially around some of like the more manual tasks for my team, but also information and getting franchisees of what they want. I'm all about this for AI. And certainly on the paid digital side and on the SEO side, AI absolutely can do things that maybe humans could also do, but it is accelerating where we can go and what we can expect at a crazy, crazy rate. So am I skeptical about it? Yeah, I don't want it to take over the personal empathy-based marketing that I think our consumers want and need. I don't want to go too far. I want to always keep the consumer at the center of what we're trying to do, but where we can use it to be more efficient and more effective and get consumers what they're looking for, all about it.
Love it. Jennifer?
Yeah, I echo what Shana says. You know what? For us, it's really looking at how it can improve what we're currently doing right and make us all more efficient. And a lot of that right now we're looking at is we use it a lot to, I personally use it a lot. I upload a lot of data to it, strategic documents, PowerPoint presentations, not to develop content, but to synthesize data and to make recommendations. So I know it can write copy. We all know that it can improve our copy, but what else can it do? And again, uploading data and strategic documents and benchmarks and an analysis, it's proven that it's giving us a lot of things to think about that we haven't thought about before. Email marketing campaigns, a lot of different ways to look at problems differently, which is amazing. So of course we look at it with also with caution all the time, make sure that we just don't put anything out before reviewing it. And when we do, sometimes I have found errors. I remember uploading some information about one of our newer brands, and it said it wasn't a franchise system last year. And I was like, whoa. So we went in to figure out why it might be saying that. It's really important, though. I mean, we have a lot of leads now that are for all of our brands, and I would receive franchise development marketing too. On the consumer side and the B2B side, and for franchise development, we have a lot of leads coming from AI sources now. So it's really important that we're optimizing all of our channels for that. And it's really viable, of course. The one last thing I'll say is when franchisees, and we have, while AI is a really amazing tool, we have a really small portion of our franchisees who are coming to us and asking us questions about it. There's a lot, those that are very vocal, there's a small portion, but they're very vocal. And I say to them, you don't have to have your hair on fire about this. If you focus on those other things that we've rolled out, those are going to create more impact right now. Let us look at AI tools and how it's going to help you, and then we will present to you on what you can do. But it is that shiny object, and people do get a little, I think, frantic about it. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's next.
Love it. Is there any sort of AI policies that kind of govern what a franchisee can do using AI? Any
Yeah,
sort of
so
regulations?
we rolled out a governance policy at the beginning of last year when we rolled out Gemini for all of our franchise locations. We had a webinar. We talked about what they should use and what they shouldn't, and how they should use it. Yeah, so we do have that, and also our private equity partner. We meet regularly. All the brands meet regularly and talk together about what we're doing to
Hmm.
leverage AI. So they're a great resource too. But yeah, we do have best practices and also policy and procedures.
Perfect. Nothing like driving that uniformity when you standardize the system that you're going to build your knowledge base off of. This way, it's consistent for every single franchisee.
Yeah, for sure.
Last but not least, Taylor.
I'll go quick because I know we are almost out of time here. I echo what both Shanna and Jennifer said. It definitely can create leverage that humans alone can't sustain at scale, but I think it's important to remember that it's a tool. AI is not a solution, it's a tool. It can't be devoid of a human. It's going to make franchisees more efficient. It's going to speed up the time it takes for them to do research on community partners, demographics in their area, competitors, content ideas, promotion ideas, but you can't have that without human prompts or human review to catch the errors. And I know we often talk a lot AI a lot in the context of copywriting, which I think Shanna said earlier. And I think it's important to remember that AI spits out a lot of what sounds super smart and pretty, but it's actually a lot of wordy fluff at this point in time since AI has been out for years now. It's easily identifiable not only by us as humans. I mean, let's talk about the LinkedIn feed at this moment, but also by algorithms in the ad environment that are recognizing and penalizing those that are relying solely on AI without human review. So just always caution people on my team that are using AI to write. It's after it spits out what you want it to after your prompt, just go back to the why are you asking it to write it in the first place? Is it accomplishing what you intended for it to do when you started out?
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, it's just remaining and being the operator and not strictly the consumer of the output that it gives you. And on that note, I know we're coming up on the 2 minute mark. I'd love to kind of turn to the questions from the attendees if we have any.
I see
And
two
a
for
few,
Shanna in there. I'm not sure.
yes, yep, just pulled it up as well. Uh, Shanna, what social media platform are you currently using? Question by Jessica.
Oh, that's such a good one. We are using, uh, I'm not going to get it right. Sprinkler. Thank you.
Eh,
Somebody just came in. She's like, oh, I can tell you, Sprinkler. We're using Sprinkler right now.
Perfect. And then the follow-up question, just how big is your marketing team? What you're doing is absolutely great. Just wondering how many people that it actually takes to make this kind of magic happen.
We're a very white glove franchise. So I have 17 people on the team, and that's everything from creative to digital to social to PR to partnerships, support, email, organic website. Yeah, but we rely on a lot of really strong partners as well. So you still need people to oversee the partners, and still need to make sure that it's in line with our brand. So you can have a great team, you still need great partners.
Love it. Well said. Well said. On that note, we're exactly on the 2 o'clock mark for Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank all of our wonderful Rockstar panelists for sharing their expertise, their knowledge, and I am super excited to catch up with everybody at IFA for those that are attending.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.